Today is Monday, March the 24th, 8:07 a.m. I picked up my breakfast and then I swung through the MRT station to get rid of a pocket full of change, dollars and fives. I kept the 10s and the 50. I'm really liking this camera. The more I use it, the more I like it. And the reason I like it so much is because it's very easy to post. All I do is turn it on and record, and then edit on my phone and upload to YouTube. It's seamless. To do a 10-minute video like this on a daily basis is the easiest ever. There's so few steps, and the camera itself does a good enough job. So I like this format, and I've doubled the number of subscribers again, which is really great. Crossing against the light as usual. I think probably the main thing about posting things online is consistency. If you're consistent, then your tribe will find you. The second most important thing is probably how do you say this? Connection? Communication. So if somebody leaves a note, you have to acknowledge that note. Otherwise, they're not going to leave notes anymore. At least that's the way I am. I'll leave a note on a YouTube channel, and 9 times out of 10, 7 times out of 10, nothing back. Nothing. No acknowledgement, no like, no nothing. And when that happens, I don't leave any more notes. As simple as that. You're not going to communicate. If it's not going to be a two-way street, if it's going to be a broadcast, then I'm not going to do it. Which brings me back to this channel. I think I'm going to call it the Bob Pod. You can only change names once every 14 days, so I'm waiting for that. There's probably some kind of method in that madness. For me personally, I feel a very strong need to communicate. I've been a long time blogger because I like to write things down and I like to think things out. But if you add the next dimension to that, and that is to get some feedback on those thoughts from others, that makes it 100 times better. So it's not a need for validation or anything like that. I don't think it is. Maybe a little bit. It's nice being liked. But I don't need that. I don't need that kind of validation. I just like to communicate. I just like the sharing of thoughts and ideas with others. And I think that's why I was a little bit upset when I learned earlier last week, that one of my old-time YouTubers, who I never actually talked to, I never left any notes or anything, but I did have an investment in his channel in the sense of I watched him. And that was Wes Davies. He was in Taiwan from 2017. So maybe it was just lucky timing, but I followed him early and through the pandemic, and then after the pandemic he started falling off. All the YouTubers did, because all of the views started falling off. So all these guys maybe they weren't in it for the right reasons. They're in it for the money instead of for the communication. But back to the point, I was a little bit upset when I learned that he was back in Canada. And the reason I'm upset about that, not that I followed him on a regular basis anymore, but I was upset that he didn't announce that to us. He didn't share that part of his life with us. And I guess he didn't because he's not getting enough views to make that worthwhile anymore. Which means the time and emotional energy that I invested in him wasn't worthwhile, wasn't reciprocal. He simply doesn't care. That's too bad. And I was thinking maybe it's because of YouTube's policy changes, not policy changes, website changes, which entail essentially it's a two-tier system. You can be a member and pay whatever it is, $1 a month or a couple of bucks a month or more if you want to, and you'll get exclusive content. So I suppose if you've got your tribe, you circle the wagons and say, well, this is what I'm going to do from here on in. This is my tribe. This is who I want to. These are the ones that are paying me. So I'm going to make content just for them. But you know what? It's a very short-sighted goal, because if you ignore your base, then you're never going to get any more friends and subscribers. So I suppose it could be an exit strategy. It makes sense as an exit strategy, because it's certainly not going to do you any long run good if you're not going to keep feeding more people into the funnel, the sales funnel. Today's Monday, so I went to my second favorite breakfast spot. I'm cutting back on breakfast a little bit. Instead of getting 2 things, or even 3, which I used to do, now I'm only getting 1. So I got a robao and a dojang. That's enough for me. Getting back to the 2-tier systems, I'm not a big fan of 2-tier systems. I understand why they exist, but I don't agree with them. Even if it's like on the 401, the highway in Ontario, they have a carpool lane. So if you have 2 or more people in your car, you can get into the carpool lane. And that's a great idea, except that invariably the carpool lane, when the traffic's not very heavy, moves slower than the fast lane. So unofficially the speed limit on the 401 is 120. Officially it's 100. But I've been in the carpool lane so many times behind somebody going just over 100, where people in the other lanes are going like 120. And just quickly before I go, airplanes. I don't mind paying a little bit more to get a wider seat, a little bit more leg room. I think that's fine. I mean, you know, it is what it is. We're not all in this together. Doesn't matter what you're doing. You think you're in it together, but you're not. You're in the plane together, but that's where it ends. But what bothers me about that is that they load up the front of the plane first. So you have to walk through the first class and the business class before you can get to your seat in the economy class. That doesn't make any sense at all. They should be loading the plane from the back to the front, because ultimately they unload the plane from the front to the back. So first in, last out. Last in, first out. It just makes more sense. But they make you walk past all the people getting comfortable in their sleeper seats before you can sit down. And that bothers me. All right, that's today's rant. Talk to you tomorrow, probably. Beautiful day. Yes, it is.